was a member of a EU electoral observation mission to Uganda, a country long tormented by oppressive, brutal regimes. Museveni was elected. So many years after, Museveni is still in place, but democracy has been eroded, human rights continue to be violated. I had the opportunity to check the importance and the weight of EU diplomacy on the spot in Uganda. So it summed up with the embassies of the member states, and we're still powerless in order to make the right point to bring about fair, credible elections in Uganda. Insofar, there is something we can do. It's make the case for human rights violated of the leaders of the opposition, so that the European message is still heard in Kampala, in Uganda, and all over the place, that we do care about those leaders of the opposition which are so unfairly prosecuted against. So please, Commissioner, take the message. Action is needed in Uganda, Kampala. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, señor López Aguilar. Mr. Tinkinen, seat 216.
Have been following closely the run-up to and the elections on January 15, 26. These engagements included meetings with all political parties, including with the National Unity Platform, as well as with electoral bodies and with government and the leadership of the Ugandan People's Defence Forces. An EU-funded project focused on electoral violence prevention called Let's Talk Peace was launched ahead of the
Let's Talk Peace is a fucking program. Whitewashing.
A diplomatic watch by the EU delegation was carried out on election day, and the spokesperson of the European External Action Service issued a statement after the announcement of the results. As mentioned in the statement,
he was silent for 7 days.
The preliminary statement of the African Union COMESA joint observation mission as regards the involvement of the military in the electoral process, which is contrary to the Ugandan 1995 constitution. Furthermore, the internet shutdown implemented 2 days before the elections clearly limited access to information and freedom of association. We are also very concerned with the arbitrary arrests and suspension of numerous civil society organizations ahead of the elections. We call for investigations and accountability following the reports of death, violence and detentions of opposition politicians and human rights defenders, as well as for clarification of the current situation of Bobi Wine in particular. We call on all political actors to exercise restraint, to refrain from violence or incitement.
All political actors, the fucking dictator!
Honourable members, the European Union, through its delegation in Kampala and locally represented European Union member states, have been following closely the run-up to and the elections on January 15, 26. These engagements included meetings with all political parties, including with the National Unity Platform, as well as with electoral bodies and with government and the leadership of the Ugandan People's Defence Forces. An EU-funded project focused on electoral violence prevention called Let's Talk Peace was launched ahead of the campaign, which was welcomed by stakeholders across political lines. A diplomatic watch by the EU delegation was carried out on election day, and the spokesperson of the European External Action Service issued a statement after the announcement of the results. As mentioned in the statement, we share the findings of the preliminary statement of the African Union COMESA IGAD joint observation mission as regards the involvement of the military in the electoral process, which is contrary to the Ugandan 1995 constitution. Furthermore, the internet shutdown implemented 2 days before the elections clearly limited access to information and freedom of association. We are also very concerned with the arbitrary arrests and suspension of numerous civil society organizations ahead of the elections. We call for investigations and accountability following the reports of death, violence and detentions of opposition politicians and human rights defenders, as well as for clarification of the current situation of Bobi Wine in particular. We call on all political actors to exercise restraint, to refrain from violence or incitement. The EU, despite the current challenges, will continue engagement with Uganda on a broad-based agenda based on shared interest and mutual respect, including on trade, critical raw materials. Our cooperation and humanitarian programmes promote a Team Europe approach, exploring opportunities for transformative projects, including under the Global Gateway. At the same time, the EU, through an open dialogue with Ugandan authorities, will continue to advocate for the respect of human rights and democratic principles and to follow up on anti-discrimination measures. The EU will continue to stand by civil society organisations and support them in line with their needs and our values and principles.
Thank you very much.
All right, welcome back, family. Hope that you're doing good as we tune in this channel. Now, when elections were held in the country of Tanzania, a lot happened. The country was destroyed. Properties were destroyed. Lives of the people were taken away. A lot happened. People were jailed. Some went just missing. Family left under cries in the morning. And now today, immediately after that incident, African leaders said nothing. African Union said nothing. But European Parliament and the European Union came in and condemned the country of Tanzania, the government of Tanzania, for all they committed towards the people, calling it genocide and human crime. So many people came out, mostly Africans, saying that, we don't need European people to come and interfere with African matters. But now, according to some people, like personally, on my views, EU was so right, because Africa is a sovereign country, a continent that is having its freedom. So it means that at this time, we need to have a free and fair election. We are in a position of Africans going on election, conducting a peaceful election, and having or getting the best leader that we need, a leader that comes from the choice of the people. Now, the same has happened in the country of Uganda. Before Uganda went to election, a lot happened. The government switched off the internet, and a lot of people complained about this. The journalists came out to address this. People came out to react about this, but nothing happened. And that's how it remained until the election was held, and a lot of things happened. Now, immediately after this, African Union did nothing. But I remember during the first days, African Union came in to congratulate the victory of Samia, of Museveni. Despite all that was ongoing, people were abducted. The opposition leader was not to be found. His deputy leaders, contestants were not to be found, and nothing happened. Now, we as Africans complained. We came out to speak and address about this. But now today, something different is happening. European Union again is the one that has come out to condemn the victory of Uganda, dismissing it, calling Yoweri Museveni an illegitimate president, because he is not able to respect the choice of the people. He's not ready to listen to the voice of the people when the people are the one who are supposed to be coming out to make their own choice. So, European Union, far away, 1,000 miles away from Africa, in Brussels, how comes is the only institution that comes in when things are being seen as hot, affecting Africans? It is true that we need to be free. It is true that we don't need some people or foreigners to come and interfere with our issues. But now, how can other people just sit down and watch how things are happening when African leaders are not able to govern themselves, when they are not able to allow some of their people to wake up in the morning and go make their own choices during the time of election? People are suffering, people are dying. The countries are being destroyed because of the people, because of the African greediness to the politics, to the power. So today, European Union are coming out to condemn the victory of Ugandan presidential election, because this is something that each and every person viewed it and know how it happened. And we all know that all that happened is not, that it didn't just happen according to the law or democracy of the African countries. So today, despite Museveni being announced as the leader of the presidential election, he continued going to harass other people, to depress other people, to threaten other people. His military people, his military going to terrorize the opposition sides. Today, the family of Bobi Wine, the chief opposition leader, are not in safe place. The opposition leader himself is not to be found. He's just coming out to address people from his hiding place. And this is the Africa that we say that we need to say that we are free. We need to be free. We don't need other people to come in and interfere with our matters. We cannot continue doing this. Professor Pilumba once said that in Africa we are having one problem. The problem is that we don't know how to act. We are not able to count elections. We are going to election, but only these few results that are coming out, we are not able to account election. And that is what is making all these problems and troubles to happen in Africa, in African people's life. So I always don't support the people from Europe, because we know all that they have committed to Africa. But when I see them coming to interfere, to interact with African matters that is affecting the people's life, I have to support them. I have to support them. And this shows that as Africans and African leaders, you have a lot to do. You have the task to carry on. You have the problem that you have to correct yourself, because what you are doing is not what we're supposed to see in Africa happening. We are today mature enough to handle our matters, to go in an election and elect our leaders peacefully and make life move on. But not each and every time we go to election, we allow some things like this to happen. Countries being destroyed, people just losing life because of the political issues. That's not what we expect. I don't think I'll take much of time. Just let me have your views in the comment section. What do you think about this video? What do you think about this? We have a lot to discuss about this. I'll make sure I respond to each and every comment that you post in my comment section. You're doing great, and be blessed.